So welcome everyone to our day of online meditation, and today is, what is the day? 27th of June 2026. So life goes on. In this samsara we have time, and we get older and grow. And anyway, today the theme is about facing up to the inevitabilities of life. And facing up to these inevitabilities of life with and wisdom and the hard qualities. And the emphasis on the hard qualities today will be equanimity. Equanimity is thought of in many different ways. And you can think about it as the result of practice. You could also think about it as a practice in and of itself. And there's many different ways we can meditate with equanimity. Like we can cultivate equanimity with deep stillness and calmness. Equanimity, by the way, is this quality. It's a wisdom quality. It's a quality of being unshaken by the vicissitudes of life, remaining steady and seeing things as they are, like it's accepting the reality of this moment as it is, rather than struggling with the way things actually are. It doesn't mean we agree with the way things are, but it means that we can live with a little bit of peace. So another thing about equanimity is that we realize that everyone is on their own life trajectory. Everyone. I've talked about this many times with you guys, or some of you guys anyway, but this understanding of equanimity helps us also understand that people need to be responsible for their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, because nobody else can do. Nobody else can be responsible for their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, because they are there. That's on their life trajectory. We can't go in and change another person. People have to change from themselves, within themselves, through their own intentions and their own actions and so on. So this is a really wonderful insight to have, and it's an insight of dependent arising. And dependent arising, is this understanding that everything arises because of causes and conditions. And there's no single thing in all this. It's a interdependent process with life. So equanimity gives us that kind of deep acceptance of the reality of justice. It also clarifies who is responsible for what. So if someone blames us for making them upset, I guess they can, In reality, I know that in reality, we have to respond to people with the way we respond to people is based on our own training and our own intentions. So it gives that sense of not necessarily personalizing with things that are happening in the world, and also not personalizing when people criticize you, not taking it on as the reality of what you are. And it also gives us a centered groundedness in the way things are. Sometimes there's terrible things happen in life, like, disasters and horrible events that we, need to respond to, of course. If we can respond to those events with clarity and a sense of centeredness, then we're more able to cope with them, and we're more able to deal wisely with them. So this is what I'm talking about with equanimity. So it's a result of insight meditation practice, meaning that insight meditation practice, a good summary, I guess a way we can understand insight meditation practice is we're investigating into the nature of things, we're inquiring into the nature of things, and we're seeing things very, very clearly. So with insight meditation, sometimes what's called the four establishments of mindfulness are equated and synonymous with insight meditation. So there's a certain sense of equanimity that comes from seeing the way things are, seeing how things arise and change, and we start to see the characteristics of life, like impermanence, not self, and unsatisfactoriness of life. We start to see that, and then we have a kind of an equanimity about what's called equanimity of formations, meaning we have an equanimity about the way things are arising and changing. And as I mentioned earlier, equanimity can also be the result of stilling and calming our minds, or in other words, serenity meditation. And in this case, we change the state of our mind, not like we change the state of our mind with insight as well, but with insight it's all about seeing clearly. With serenity, it's more like we change our consciousness. So our consciousness, our state of mind, becomes very still and quiet and peaceful. And from that position, we see clearly the way things are, and there's a sense of not being cut off from the world, but insulated from the ways of the world. The ways of the world, of course, are what's called the 8 worldly winds: praise and blame, loss and gain, pain and pleasure, and fame and disrepute. These 8 worldly winds typically blow us around. They decenter us. They shake us around. We become unshaken by it, and we're either grasping after one or yearning for one side of these polarities, these 4 polarities, and or rejecting the other. So this sense of equanimity from this stillness, it really puts us into a different space where we're not caught up in those reactive patterns of grasping after or pushing away. So, and I also mentioned that equanimity can be a practice in and of itself. And when we practice equanimity as a practice in and of itself, what we do there is we develop this quality of equanimity in every way we can. We develop the sign of equanimity, and we bring that into our heart. Equanimity is one of the 4 Brahma Viharas, and the 4 Brahma Viharas, loving kindness or warm benevolence, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. The 4 Brahma Viharas are they're sublime meditation practices, but they are also ways we relate to oneself and others. And when we can relate with warm benevolence, compassion, appreciation or gratitude, and joy with what we do, joy in our own good qualities and beneficial actions, and joy in seeing that in another as well, that sense of appreciation. When we can do that, that's really, really helpful. And also we can have this quality of equanimity in what we do as a way of relating as a divine abode, is we bring it into our heart. We have that sign of equanimity in our heart, a sign of peacefulness. We go deeply into that. And by going deeply into it, it becomes, we become absorbed into it. And then we radiate it. It's like giving an offering to the universe, giving an offering to other beings. It's not like you're wishing other beings to be peaceful, but you're offering this peaceful perspective of equanimity. It's like you're radiating a relationship quality. When you can, I think it's really important to have equanimity in relationships. I know in my own relationship with my partner, who's back in my house back there, I need to have a sense of understanding, to not take things personally, but also to see her clearly. And when I see her clearly, I have lots of love and compassion and joy. So equanimity is a balancing quality here. Okay, I think I've raved enough for the moment, so I'm going to invite you to two meditations. I think, well, actually, one meditation and one reflection. And I hope you don't mind, but we'll be talking about aging, sickness, and death a little bit. Also, conflict. Uh, and so the two meditations I'll be inviting you to will be the first one will be equanimity as a divine abode. And I'll probably invite you to settle and stabilize your mind and then begin to ground yourself in earth element. So the earth element becomes the most predominant experience in your attention, if possible, or awareness. Then I'll invite you to bring that quality of peacefulness. Maybe you can remember a quality of peacefulness or a time of peacefulness or someone who's very peaceful. Bring that quality to your heart, like a peaceful heart. And, if there's any struggles there, just please accept that as the ebbs and flows of life. Bringing that sense of peacefulness to your heart. You can even put your hand on your heart if that's relevant for you. This peacefulness comes with compassion and warm benevolence and appreciation as well. But let the peace be in your heart. And then let that grow. Like we then apply serenity aspects of meditation where we attend to this peacefulness in our heart. And with gentle attention, it begins to grow. And let it expand throughout your body. Let it expand throughout your mind. And then if it feels relevant for you, let it radiate out into all directions. Like an offering. Not a wishing. You're not wishing for other people to be a particular way. It's more like this possibility to touch their hearts with peace. So that'll be the first meditation. The second exercise, I could do these either way around. I might do the second exercise first, but the second exercise, if we do it in this order, is the five recollections. And many of you know the five recollections. They're a traditional Buddhist recollection. It is about recalling the realities of life. And these realities are, you say it like this to yourself, and it can develop. I'm of the nature to age. I have not got beyond aging. I'm of the nature to have illness. I have not got beyond illness. I'm of the nature to die. I have not got beyond death. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, shall one day be parted from me, shall one day vanish. So there's four of those recollections, and the fifth recollection is more of a group of phrases. I'm the owner of my actions, heir to my actions, born of my actions, related to my actions, abide supported by my actions. Whatever actions I shall do, of those actions I shall be the heir. In other words, I am what I have done, I will be what I do. That's a Patrick Carney version of the five recollections. One way of that particular phrase, the fifth recollection. And Thich Nhat Hanh talks about this as my actions are the ground I stand on. Something like that. So it's an understanding of causes and conditions and our intentions, the involvement of intentions here. Because, the way we are has come about by a number of different things in life. Many of these different things arise because of no choice of ours at all. They're kind of no control of us, out of our control, and we just have things happen. So that's a large part of the way things are. But there is a slither of possibility that we can change the way things are. We can go in a direction that's wholesome or unwholesome. And it's likely that when we make a choice with our intentions to go in a wholesome direction, then wholesome things are more likely to unfold. But if we choose to go in an unwholesome direction, unwholesome things are more likely to unfold. So equanimity, this equanimity is very peaceful. It's an understanding. And these 5 recollections are a way of cultivating equanimity, actually. Okay.